I haven't done this for a while, but let's give it a go. I've written on Facebook about my second robbery in 10.5 months. And I've tried to be upbeat about it because the first time I was carrying a huge bag and it was filled to capacity with things that were of enormous value to me. It also had every penny of my money in it. I'd withdrawn everything from my bank and all of my money was in the bag the first time that it was stolen, the first time that I was robbed. There were other things in there of incredible value, including a document that dated back to 1926 Germany, a letter from my father that he wrote on the 12th of December 1945. I didn't actually acknowledge that one to myself for several months after the robbery. That had gone missing too. There were inquest notes in there. One turned out to be replaceable. One set turned out to be replaceable. I had a photocopy. The other set I may never be able to replace. It took me 8 months to even replace lip salve, a handbag mirror, the littlest things from that bag, because I couldn't replace the big things ever, and I didn't care about the little things. So round about 8 months later, I finally got a new bag. I took out purses from a drawer that I'd kept from New Zealand. I never used. I took out a little handbag mirror from Madeira that I also never used, just kept as souvenirs. They were in the second bag that got robbed, that I was robbed of. I still can't list out everything that went missing from the first bag without feeling the most awful bereavement. So I've tried to make light of the robbery, the theft of the second bag, which was tiny. It was more like the size of a makeup bag. Nonetheless, both times my breathing meds were in my bag. Both times. The good thing about the first time was it was round the corner from where I lived, and I still had the key. The key was in my jacket pocket, not in my bag. And I still had a phone, because the phone was in my jacket pocket, not in the bag. Second time, everything went. I had no keys, no bus pass, no money, no breathing meds. If I hadn't managed to get to my bank, which thank God there was a branch of, in reasonable walking distance, because thank heavens my breathing wasn't too bad that day. If the ladies at the bank had not opened the door to me at 5:01, they were shut. If they had not then proceeded to help me for an hour and a half, I wouldn't have been able to replace the breathing meds. I wouldn't have been able to get home. I wouldn't have been able to get in because they organised that as well for new locks and keys. I will say it was a blessing. This is a council place and they did it this time, because last time it had to be paid for privately. What occurred to me yesterday morning, of course, when I went out, I've tried to make it so upbeat, I replaced so many things. I replaced this, I replaced that. I achieved a lot, and not everything's gone. All of my family and friends' phone numbers have gone. A few things of sentimental value, but not like the things that went missing before, dear God, not like them. What occurred to me yesterday morning was, I am not safe in this city. I've been robbed both sides of it, in an area called Shirley and an area called Bitton. Both sides of it. I like taking candy from a baby, both times. The first time it was snatched out of my hand. The second time it was snatched from underneath my nose, and my dog was beside me and didn't make a murmur. Not a murmur. Both times my breathing meds were in the bag, because I can't go without them. I can't go out without them. And that gives me pause for thought. Basically, it means that I can't safely go out in this city without fearing for my life. Neither time was I physically assaulted. The police seemed to think that was a miracle. Oh, lucky, lucky me. That reminds me of a book called Lucky. A woman suffered an horrific rape, but they told her she was lucky to have survived. Of course, she's still affected to this day. Horrific rape, but she was lucky. She was lucky. And that, to a degree, is how I feel about these robberies. I'm so lucky that I wasn't physically hurt. Yes, but I could have died. I could very easily have died because I didn't have my breathing meds. Once the bags had gone, my breathing meds had gone, and I was in serious trouble. Now, the first time, my breathing meds were around the corner, and I still had a key. There were replacement, spare breathing meds. That wasn't such a problem the first time. The second time, without the help of the ladies from the bank, I would have had to call an ambulance. So I will never again feel safe in this city. And what also didn't say when I was being so upbeat was I went into a cafe on a beautiful sunny day and sat downstairs in the cafe with my back to the wall. I wouldn't sit outside the cafe. 13 years in Wales, I sat outside cafes and never felt unsafe. I'll never do it again here. I've made too light of the second robbery, and does it go without saying, the ladies in the bank also rang the police for me. The people in the cafe did it, but said the police would not come out, and I had to go to them, and I thought, how am I supposed to get to them? We were a good 2 miles away. I had no money, no bus pass, no transport. How was I supposed to get to them? And without my breathing meds. But I have a crime reference number, thanks to the ladies in the bank. And nobody else. Not the people at the cafe where I got robbed. Nobody's inquired whether they had CCTV or not. I didn't think to inquire. Probably because the last time I got robbed, the police checked out the CCTV 3 months after the robbery. Of course, it gets wiped every 48 hours. I have lost irreplaceable things, most of all, any sense of safety in this city. I've wanted to leave it ever since I came back to it, really. 2.5 years in what I call the rat house. The bad thing about the robbery being so close to that place was that I couldn't avoid that place. I couldn't avoid Shirley because I lived in it. The good thing about the robbery in Britain is that I can avoid it. I can totally avoid it. I can never go there again. Easy to never go there again. But the point is that simply going out, I am a sitting duck.